Now, we're in the camper van and there's really good disco outside playing really good loud music. Isn't that right, Nellie? And it reminds me of a story that I never heard before, but I'm going to make it up, about the fairies. Isn't that right, Eppie? Eppie?
No, I don't want that story. What is it?
It's about the fairies. Remember the time we went up to Raheen? We heard the fairy music playing. Remember that?
Yeah.
That place. It was actually years.
Oh, yeah. No, we wasn't attending. It was in the wee yard.
It was, wasn't it, Eppie?
Yeah. No, we wasn't attending.
Yeah. Well, Eppie, when I was a little boy, right, I used to go walking through the fields up around there where we were up near that Raheen. And when you'd be going up there at night time like this, you'd hear this great music coming out at Raheen. And we heard Irish music that night. But sometimes, Eppie, you'll hear that kind of music. You hear the music that's playing now?
Now do you want to go there?
There's light, Eppie. No, she's telling you, Eppie, Nellie, because there's lights and all in it. The fairies sometimes during the summer, they always have summer discos. And you go up there and literally, lads, the Raheen would literally just be hopping with music and there'd be lights flying everywhere. It's incredible, it is, right? And you know the trees we were in, Eppie? There'd be lights and there'd be smoke machines and it'd be full of balloons. But one of the things actually the fairies used to always love was a thing called a slow set. It's where the boy fairy would ask the girl fairy, would you like to dance? And it turn on lovey music where all the fairies get up to dance and they hold hands and then they hug each other and then they have a bit of a kiss like this. I love you, fairy. I love you, fairy. Like that, right? But do you know what happened, Eppie? That particular disco and that fairy, Raheen and Keynes, was so popular. All the fairies from all over Wexford and Carlow and Kilkenny and all used to come to it. And they'd drive in their little fairy cars and they'd come walking as well. They'd be walking for days. And the place would be packed. Now the thing was, lads, what would happen when the different fairies would come from different parts of the county?
I don't know.
Should it be fighting? They'd get drink into them and they'd start to fight. And they'd be baiting the heads off each other with bits of branches and sticks and stones, anything they could find. But then as soon as the slow music would come on, they'd stop fighting and they'd start kissing, right? And you know what happened then once? There was one fella, basically, he forgot the slow music, the love songs, and they were fighting all night long. And I went in and I said, Jesus Christ, they're fighting all, they want to bait the heads off each other. And I grabbed the microphone, right, and they let me into it because I was small, you see. And I only knew one love song, right? And it was Bryan Adams, Nothing Compares to You, I think that's the name of the song. And I sang that song. And you know what? It's like, who was that then? Oh, Sinead O'Connor, whatever, right? And you know what they did? No. As soon as I started to sing, they all stopped and goes, God, that boy has got a lovely voice. And they all stopped fighting. And what did they start to do?
Everything I do it for you. That's the Bryan Adams one.
Yeah, everything I do, it was Bryan Adams. Everything I do it for you. Yeah. And you know what, lads? They actually all started to hold hands and hug. And they start to kiss and they all start to cry. And at the end of it, every single fairy was down crying on the ground. Said that was the nicest song I ever heard. Who's that chap? And then they said, oh, I think he's one of the Fortunes over there in Park Ansley. God, he's a lovely singer. God, he's an awful nice singer. And then no sooner had I stopped and put the microphone back in the stand, you know what they started to do again? Fighting, baiting the head off each other. So they did that all night long, and then when the daybreak had come, the fairies would disappear and it'd all be gone, and all that would be left would be empty bottles and cans and plastic glasses and stuff like that. But there'd be no fairies around because you can't see them during the daytime. You can't really do stuff during the daytime. But what happened in the end, lads, was there's a different type of music came over from England called dance music or house music. And you know what happened then? The fairies got big into dancing, like, but they did the dance loads, but they stopped doing the thing called the slow set, the fairy slow set. And when they stopped doing the slow set, then the boy girls and fairy girls and fairy boys, they stopped kissing and courting, and they just danced, and it killed the fairy disco. And you don't really hear any discos up in the Cairns Raheen anymore now because of that. But God, there was some crack there years ago, Nellie.
I hate that story.
Do you hate that story?
Tell Jason I'm going to hate that.
Do you know when you go out into the fields now in Nanny's house still, now and again you'll see the lights in the sky, and you know what they're from? They're from the Fairies disco. You know what song the Fairies always just allowed dancing to when I was little? Where's My Jumper? When you'd put on Where's My Jumper, every fairy in the house would go mental. And what would they all say? I used to always pick up the microphone and used to always go, dancing at the disco, bumper to bumper. Wait a minute.
Where's me jumper?
Where's my jumper? Oh no. And every little fairy would be looking for his jumper. Is that a good story, Eppie?
No, tell Jason.
What's a good one then, Eppie?
I don't even know.
I'll save this. I'll have to work on it.